Hello, I was just checking Twitch. Hello, Pyro. Hello, Keltus. I was just checking Twitch, and at least to me. Hello, Amnesty. Can you guys try my Twitch channel? Can you see the stream? Because it seems like now, because I started the stream with 10,000 bits per second, it's not loading. And mine is just saying, you know, I can share my screen here. Let me see, just a second. So you can see it's just saying, yeah, sorry, the stream starts a little weird, but knock. Call in to join your own stream. What is that? Huh? Hello, Konako. Okay, so there's an ad now, but at least you can see. I see this one. Let me hear, Keltusai, if you can see it, and then oh, I need to turn on the camera and everything. See, it's loading kind of slow now. The chat came, so maybe it's a Twitch thing, or maybe it's my stream thing. But as I'll just try and change the bitrate to like 7,000 or something like that. I've added a little logic since yesterday, so we can move on and find that sound. But I also noticed some other issues, but I will show you in a moment. I just have a black screen on Twitch. Yeah, exactly. Okay. I have the same. Let me try and change the bitrate to 7,500. Let's see if that changed anything. And other streams are working fine. Hello, Logan. Thank you for the following. That's annoying. Let me see if I can quickly stop and start the stream quickly. And now with 7,000 bitrate, because then it should work. Because that's how it used to be. Maybe it's 7,000. It's still not working, right, Kelsa? Oh, maybe I can just, if I just disable, oh, wait a second. If I just disable Twitch, it should stop. Error occurred, please try again later. Okay, maybe there's something wrong with Twitch right now. Now I stopped the stream to Twitch, so it should, hello Mikolai. So it should continue now on let me see. But it says there's an error. Wait a second. Streaming. Okay, so I closed the stream now. Saving. Okay. So now Twitch should be offline in a bit. And then I can enable it again, I guess. That's because I'm using Restream, so I can turn the streams on and off, I guess. Okay, yeah. So now it's gone, and let me try and start again. And now I changed the bitrate to 7,500. Let's see if that works now. Streaming, sending data, let's see. And then we get back into business. We're not actually continuing directly from where we left off last time. Okay, so it works. Okay. Okay. So now it seems to be working on Logan gone on 5,500. Now I changed this to 7,500 and now it seems to be working, right? But you can see it's working here. Okay, picture in picture, of course, but can also have advanced. Let's see here. So yes, so if I start with 7,500, I think I can change it now to 10,000, and then it keeps working. That was what I did yesterday. Okay, weird. I just can't start it with. Okay, anyway, it's working now, so that's good. So let's where do I have this? Let's run the intro. Yeah, okay. Maybe a little too late when we have started. Anyway, hi guys. So I'm back. I never went back yesterday because a lot of stuff happened with the computer and my son's computer, and then it was dinner time and yada yada yada. But I'm back now, and I actually later managed to do a few things to prepare. Remember yesterday we were looking for a sound to be played when a mortar rejects an item. So I implemented the logic for playing that sound. I also attempted to do some logic to make sure that the item going into the mortar fits. I thought it was your toilets. Oh, that interesting? No, it's the tiles here in my office. That because the office I have is actually was part of an old hallway thing. So I have tiles on the floor here with heating. Woo! Not very useful right now, but in the winter it is. So let's get to what we have right now, because I ran into some other issues. So I can play a sound now, and we can try and find the sound we want. And now I just picked one now that you can see in a moment. Yeah, okay. Let's try and see here what I have right now, because I discovered some other issues. But it's playing a sound now. It's pushing things away. One of the issues I'm facing is that it's not pushing things away with the same relative force. So some things are flying far out, and some things are almost not pushed away at all. And I think I also know why now, because I was debug logging some stuff, but I'll show you. So let's see here. Okay, so let's take one of the big mortars here. And there's also another thing. I would like it to reject things, now, but that doesn't really work. But I'll look into that later. So you have to spawn a mortar. You have to put something in, actually load a shell into it, and then you see this. That's how it is right now. So now I should not be able to put this one in. See, I can't. It rejects it. This is the sound I just picked now, but it's not very. It's more like a suction sound. So it's not super great, but we can change that. But you can see here, these items are not pushed away very far. Whereas if I take kind of a mortar like this one, put in, because mortars, we don't want to put mortars into mortars to avoid confusion. Okay, now it's, okay, see. It's all the way down there. See, sometimes it's pushed far away. And you can see the closer it is to the entrance, the more it flies. And I also know why that happened. I just realized that before starting the stream. And I think it's because, so anyway, so we'll get back to that. So my point was that now things that are too big cannot either go into it. We could do that yesterday. So, but things that fit, it's not a perfect solid fit. I increased the threshold a little, so things that are a little bigger can go into. But because it was these smoke things could not go into it, but they should be because they are kind of, you know, small enough. I don't know why why is it rejecting some of them? Huh? That's actually weird. Weird sound also. Okay, so there's multiple problems. Let's try and find the sound first. You can hear the sound now. Not super good. So let's take a look at the sound first, and then we look into the other ones behind afterwards. So let's see here. Is it in here? So reject here. So the one I'm using right now. Let's stop the music here. That's this one. You can hear it, right? It's pretty. Yeah, it's loud enough. Okay, perfect. Oops. What? Nope. Nice. Oh, by the way, I was clicking through these yesterday. There are some pretty nice explosion sounds. Arcade, artillery. Some of them are okay. What was it? There was the fireworks sounds. I think there was some of them that were pretty okay. First of all, there were some new fuse things. That's pretty good. That's weird. But some of them are pretty good, so we want to use them at some point. Some of them are some of the ones we're using already. Pretty nice. The ear ringing. That one maybe. Anyway, that's what we're looking for now. Okay, anyway, music. Yeah, also pretty funny. Not very useful for this. Okay, again, not the ones we need. These are pretty nice too. Toys. No. That's the known. That's the flamenco sound. So, but we have some swooshes here. Classic swoosh. But these swoosh. They are too. The thing is, I want a sound that just briefly, quickly indicates that something is wrong, that you can't get into it, but it shouldn't be too crazy. Keltus, are you mod on Twitch? Can you remove this guy? Classified or whatever. Yes. But on this one, maybe. But maybe that's the one I was using actually. Let's see. I was using the cartoon reverse base zoom. Okay. Hmm. But where do you have these files from, Pyro? I can't just use anything. Yeah, the few sounds. Some of the few sounds are weird. Cool. Thank you. Pop, 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 pop. Okay. Hmm. Weird sounds. Yeah. Some of them are pretty. This one. No, but actually, there was one of the other ones was actually not that bad. But it's a weird sound. It doesn't fit. That one. Let's just try this, just for fun. Just to see how it works. If I could find it. Here we go. The problem is you can spend so much time trying to find the right sounds. And it is important. It's very important. But we also have to move on. So I will just pick one now and then let's see what we do. Then I will at least delete some of the sources that we don't need right now. So I don't check that into Git. And then we come back and look at the actual challenges. Let's see. Oh, by the way, I forgot to. I should share. Maybe I should share that I'm live. Oh, maybe. So let's see. Full screen. Let's do mortar. Boom, 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 boom. Put in a shell. Let's stop the sound here and let's see. Okay, so we try and put in another mortar. See that's one of. And I think if we I don't know. Maybe it's a little funny. I don't know. It's not kind of a no sound, but yeah, I don't know. See, now it goes into it. But it didn't before. There's something... but that's some other logic. Okay. Let's leave it for that. With that for now. I don't have any better suggestions right now. Do you have the smoke there up there? Okay. Okay, perfect. Let's try something here. I did one yesterday here. Okay, so let's go with that for now. We can always change it, but for now, I've just picked this one because I need to move on to some of the logic here. So let's go back here, and now we picked the Lotus Flute. So that was the cartoonish stuff. So let's just keep them, and then we delete the break snappers. We delete the actions, and we delete, let me just go here, actions, alarms, instruction. Explosions are pretty good. Fireworks has been updated, that's fine. Music effect, trust of flames. Saps and bushes are actually okay, and these are also okay. So let's delete them. Again, remember from yesterday, this package I'm using here with the sounds contains thousands of sounds. Hello, Berto. Morning. Well, morning. Not for me. But so when I need new sounds from this pack, I import. I open this importer thing that I showed yesterday. Pick the folders that sounds like they could have something I can use, and then I afterwards delete what I don't need. Right now I'm though keeping some of it in here because some of it might come in handy. Yeah, I think I'll just delete this. Let's see. That's still a lot of new sounds. Okay. We'll try it. It's just wishes. Don't need. No, I wanna clean up a bit. Let's not take the whooshes in. We don't need that. Trust and flames. They're funny enough, but actually don't need them right now. Notifications. Funny enough, we don't need it right now. Impacts, that's fine. Humans, we have these earring thing. they're not super good anyway. Only one of them, I think. It's decent. No, let's not take them in now. So we delete that. Fireworks, that's fine. There was a lot of new in here, so we can, even though these segments, because that is kind of a whole show going off in the distance. We never need that in the game because we recreate that segment. We don't need all these. Yep, so delete that. Yep, explosions. There's a lot. And I don't think we need all of them. There was actually some good ones. I don't know exactly which one, but some pretty good ones, but I think I will leave it out for now. Yeah, I think I will delete the explosions for now. We can always bring it back if we need it. The cartoon one is pretty cool. Funny things. Okay, maybe a little too funny, maybe. But I think I'll leave that in for now. And there's some new footsteps and some new impacts, and that's fine. Okay. Updated and new sounds from sound effects. So let's see that one. Okay. And this one. Okay. So now back to some of the issues that we have in the code. So one of the issues that we have is that we saw that the things were flying, you know, when it's rejected. Yeah, first of all, I did some logic here and I have a method that here says that if this object you're trying to put into the mortar is allowed to enter, it does various checks, and one of the checks is that it checks if it calculates the bounce, meaning the size of the object based on its visuals, and then it says that if it's bigger than the mortar detection radius, which is the invisible sphere that is on top of the mortar, that is the one that is detecting if something can be put in, and it typically have more or less the same size as the entrance. So if it's that detection ratios times 3, you know, times 2 would normally give the entire size because the radius is half of the sphere's width, you could say. But I multiplied by 3 now to make it a little bigger, so we can have a little bigger objects in, because there was it wasn't really fitting before. There was something, it found things to be a little bigger than they actually are. Anyway, so try to do that, which of course reduce a lot what we can actually put into a mortar, which is fine. So I updated this logic a bit, blah 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 blah, all good. So one of the issues we saw was that it's not when it's rejecting an item, it was some stuff was only going small way, some of it was going far away, and even the same things were rejected with assumingly different amounts of force. And I couldn't figure that one out. I thought it was because I was not calculating the force it needed to push the things away with correctly, so it was relatively to its mass. So like, you know, a thing on 1 kilo, if we need to push that 2 meters away, that requires X amount of force. If it's something that weighs 20 kilos, it requires more force to push it 2 meters away, if that makes sense. Again, it's not something you think about when you play the game, but if I don't do this right, it feels weird. And I think I figured out why it's doing it not even the same for the same items. And I think I can actually show you here, so I can kind of... so anyway, if we take this, so this is the else segment where I'm pushing things away. So you can see here what I'm doing. I'm playing the sound, the rejection sound. Then we forget about this one. And then I say, yeah, basically the rejection force needs to be in the direction of the mortar, basically, and then some calculations here to try and add a relatively mass to this object coming in. And this should be working fine. The problem is that, and now you can see I put some logging here. So now I'm actually logging out when this is happening. So when this code is running. And when I did that, it was a little clear, and I think I know why it's going wrong now. Some of them only triggers this line here, this debug line, once. And some of them triggers it like 20 times. So first of all, why is that? And if it's triggered 20 times, I'm adding 20 times the amount of this relative force, which explains why things are just flying away. I think it's because some of these, this method here is called when a collider, is, or a trigger is entering this sphere on top of the mortar. And if you might remember, and you don't most likely, some of the mortars, at least as some of the old mortars, the way it was built before, had a lot of colliders on them. So even a little small tube had a lot of colliders. And if each of these colliders are entering this sphere, this method is actually called maybe 5 times, 6 times, 10 times, depending on how many colliders entered the sphere before it was thrown out. And because when I have one of these colliders, I'm finding the attached rigid body, meaning I find the rigid body for the actual object. So all of this force is applied to the same rigid body multiple times in a frame, resulting it to go far away. So now you're all sleeping. Anyway, so now we're down to 1 viewer, so that's good. 0 on YouTube and 1 on Twitch. So I lost everybody right there, so that's perfect. Anyway, I'm gonna continue because I think I know how I can fix this, or should fix this. I think I wanna make a so instead of applying the force to these objects every time it enters, every collider enters, if I just find them in that frame, and then at the end of the frame in the fixed update, add all the force. How does new chop function work with rockets? Rockets are very long compared to their width. Yeah, with this logic, they cannot go in as it is right now. But I think I can actually adjust it, so maybe I can do something so that if just one, because the bounce is like, it's like a box around an object, how big it is. Maybe I can do something so I say if just one of the sizes, one of the sides is smaller than the entry, then it can go into. So we could do something like that. No, you cannot put anything. Well, you can. No, because this redirect, reject logic would push out the rocket, and if you manage to force it in by messing up the physics somehow, it won't be shoot out, because only the stuff that has been sucked into the mortar will be shut out. That's part of the new version, so it performs better, if that makes sense. So we don't have all this weird physics just going like this when you have multiple things in the tube. So I don't think you can force. You can maybe statically spawn a rocket inside a mortar, but it won't work unless it hits that entry sphere that you can see, but that is right outside of the entrance to the mortar. But maybe we can find some stuff, like I said, by instead of just looking at the relative size of the object, we can look at if just one of the sides are smaller than the entrance or something like that. But right now it's pretty annoying that the other rigid bodies inside the mortar. So let's see. So that's the just here. Sign of the position. Yeah. So that's the letter. So we need one here that actually shoots it out. I don't know if we can do it like that. Let's try something here. So so we do one called rigid bodies, and we will make that a hash set, because we have a no, we make it a dictionary. Yeah, we might want to do it a dictionary, and I think it's a string and then a rigid body. So let's do it like this, and then we do like this. Rigid bodies rejected this frame. So my idea is that I will build up in a frame. I will build up a unique list of the rigid bodies that we want to reject in this frame. Again, remember the game has like 60 frames per second, but a lot can happen in a frame. So my idea is that if I can add it to this and make sure it's not already added, then I have these distinct, unique rigid bodies that I can then, in the fixed update, apply physics forces to. Yeah. Okay, let's see what happens. So we have this dictionary here, and I need to check if we will get some memory leak from this. We might want to do it another way. Yeah, okay, let's see. So do we have a fixed update? We don't have that, right? So say update fixed update. That's where we apply physics, and then we just, for each of the ones in this thingy, so for each of them, this is very, very low level stuff. So then we do this. So for each of the one we added to that list, again, this is a way to so we have rejected rigid body. So we take the rigid body and we take the mass, Okay. It's values. Boom, like that. Force, and then we that's the same. So that this one. Boom, like that. Okay. And then at the end, we do a clear. So we clear out in every frame. We clear out this one. So we could apply force to rigid bodies. So like that, so we can have multiple things happening in the fixed. So everything in this list now, all the rigid bodies in here will have, and it will be unique because I will, when I add them, I will make sure that they are not added already. But we come to that in a moment. So when for all the rigid bodies in this list, we will apply the forces once to them, and then at the end of the frame we just clear this one. Okay, so down here in this one, we basically just reject the rigid body, add, and then we say the rigid body get instance ID. Okay, so that's an integer. Okay. So we do this, and we do like this. Boom, boom. I know this is most likely doesn't make sense, but hopefully it works, and then you can see it was a nice idea. But let's see. And then with that, so we take the ID of this object, this rigid body that we're trying to put into the mortar, and then in this case here we add it to this list with the ID and a reference to that rigid body, so we can apply this stuff later on. So, and then in this one, we can do one here, and we can say if this one contains key. So we have this one, and get instance contains key equals true. So if we already added this rigid body to this list of rejected rigid bodies, we return false here, meaning that okay, no, wait, no, we shouldn't do that there. No, we cannot do it here, because then this one will be false, and then we will run down to this one. Okay, so we just do it here. Else if, and then we just do it here. I don't know if we could do this better, but let's at least try. We can always make it prettier if needed. So false. Okay. So so if it's not allowed to enter, we will get down to this one, set if it's not allowed to enter, then if this list of rejected rigid bodies does not contain this one we already have, we play a sound, and then we add it to this list so it can have its forces applied at the fixed update later on. So this list can have one item, or it can have multiple items. Most likely we'll only have one, but anyway, let's see if this works at all. I have no idea. Like, can we not put the tube in there anymore as an object on its own. So we want to put a mortar into a mortar. Because that's not possible right now, and that's because it will give some issues, I think, if you have one mortar with a lot of stuff put into that, and then you put that one into another mortar, and then take that and put into another mortar. You can kind of build this babushka thingy, and I don't think that will work, and it will also be a weird case. So that's why I'm right now just boldly just rejecting mortars in a mortar. Okay, anyway, pretty exciting to see if it works. I'll just keep the window as here, because then we can easier follow along in the bottom and see how many logs we get down here of these rejected things. Because hopefully now we should only get one per item, where before I didn't show you that, but before we got a lot of quests down there, or a lot of logs down there, meaning it applied forces many times. Okay, so now we take just this one. Let's see. So the 1, 1, 1, yes, and then we take one of these with a lot of stuff in. See? Take one with a lot in here. Nice. Let's see here. There's still something with the, but now they're not shut completely off. Okay, they're hit twice, but it was still. Okay, so now we can try and change. Okay, let's not. We hear this sound each time. Okay, like that. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It's here. So maybe I should have that. Okay. Just want to replace this with this, and a max of this. So before it was 50, and now it's 150. Let's see if that works better. Build failed. Why does build failed? Huh? What? Hello, Ella Haber. My headphones ain't working, so I can't hear. Oh. I don't have time to write. So let's see now. Might still be some issues with the calculation of the ejection. Or the relative force, but let's see. Let's see. But there's also something with how the physics objects are set up, because some of them have a higher drag and stuff like that, so that can also have an impact on how far they go. But at least it's more the same now, except for these ones. Okay. It's not really pushing it away. Okay, but anyway, it's not going in either. But at least it's better now. It's not shooting them off in the distance. Just a second. And I'm back. So just a second. Dog just want to say hi. Yeah. He was just scratching the door. Let me in. And then in 2 minutes you want to get out. So perfect. Yeah. Go down again. Okay. Okay. For now, this is fine. We can always tweak it, but check with more equals. Okay. So. Coming back here. Add logic to avoid object going into the mortar are bigger than diameter. I have added that logic, but I might wanna tweak it. But it has been added, and we might want to do something so we can get rockets in there. Maybe we should look into that right away. This is another problem, and this is another thing. Okay. Okay. So let's take a look at that logic for let's get rid of that, and then we go in here. So get the bounce. So we can say. What could we say if? See, I assume this is. Jeg stopper. Just a second. Okay, back again. So let me quickly do, I don't know actually how this works, but I assume when I calculate the bounce of this object that are trying to go into the mortar, then the size is a vector 3, meaning it's a XYZ. So I assume it's how big it is on this length, this one, and this one. So if just one of them are smaller than the radius, then it should be fine, I guess. So let's try something. Allowed radius size, whatever. Let's try this. So again, this shouldn't be calculated each time. We can save that in the property, so we don't have to, because this is not something that changed. So I can do that once for performance at a later time. But anyway, yes, it suggests that. Already bounce, we have this bounce, yes. So then we can say okay, so if if the bounce or the bounce is has a value, meaning it's not null. So if it has a value and so if it has a value and size size x. So if the x is lower, I don't know if we can do this in a smarter way. So if x is smaller than the allowed size, or y is smaller than the allowed size, oops, or c is smaller than the allowed size. No, is it's the other way around. So if yeah, okay. So if okay, so if we have a bounce from the object coming in, we have the size of it coming in here. So we still have a value. This is really not a good way of putting this, but so it has a value. Then if x is larger than the allowed size and y is larger and c is larger, then we cannot take it in. Else, if just one of them are smaller, it can be put into the mortar. It's a total guess here. But the idea was, and what I was hoping was to make it, to allow rockets to go into mortars. Let's see. It's a long shot. So let's see. I need to go in a few minutes, by the way, dinner time. But let's see if we can make this work first. So like this, and we put a shell. I can't remember why I put in the logic so a shell have to be loaded first before you put stuff in. There was some technical reason, I think. I just can't remember it right now. Okay, so rocket go in. What about the cake? No, doesn't go in. This one go in. It kind of fits, right? It barely fits. This one doesn't fit. Okay, it might fit in the this angle. This one shouldn't fit. No. Okay, did I just nail it first try here? This one would not fit, I guess. No. Smoke bombs fit perfectly. What do we have? Firecrackers fits perfectly. Smaller ones. Yep. What about the special bigger ones? That doesn't work. Doesn't work. Tim, can we put Tim in? No. Nope. Still annoying. He's not rejected probably, but that's another issue. What can we put in? What about this one? Yeah, we can put that in. That's fine because it actually do fit, right? Barely. It kind of fits. So, see, this is weird. What? Why does it go in sometimes? So this one doesn't work. See, that's super weird. It's sometimes it doesn't work. That's super weird. But it's kind of working as expected. Okay. Okay. So I think we'll leave it with this for now. I just wanna take out. This one is fine, but this one I want to take out. What should we call that? Because really it's something we should be able to calculate. Here maybe? So what can we call it? We can call it allowed I don't know if that's a good name for it, but let's do it like this, because then we just calculate it once here, and then we set it, and then we can reuse this field field so we don't have to calculate each time, because that's stupid. So we do like that, and then we do like that, so it's on start, blah 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 blah. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Let's just quickly see it works, and then I'm out for today. Not as interesting live stream as I was hoping for. We had a better run on it yesterday, but that's how it is. Can't predict how we'll go. Let's just test it one last time, and then I will check it in as is, and then I can tweak it as we go, because it's kind of working now, but we can always tweak it. And I have to test that we don't have any. We shouldn't have any leaks. No, it should be fine. Yeah. Oh yeah, okay, I need to, I'll remove that. I want to remove that lock statement because we don't want to have that in here. So this one, we don't want to look at that. Plays the sound and adds it to the else nothing just happens. Okay. And then we can also try, so we can also quickly try if we take let's say 5-inch this one, and then we put in a 5-inch something in all of these. So we should be able to put stuff in here, and basically we should also be able to put more in this because it fits size. If we take a 12, it doesn't work. It works in this one. There are some physics issues. What if we take a rocket? Can we take one of these in here? Yep. Can we take it here? Yep. Because it... See, that's weird. Why is it... There's something with these bounds that is not... See, sometimes it works. That's weird. I don't know why it's not always working. That's weird. Oh no. Ah, okay, wait a second. What is that one? Okay, so that's fine. Let's see. When we calculate the bounce, that's the... We send it in the rigid body. Other rigid body. Yeah, so that's this one. So that's the attached one. So it should be fine. Let's see. And then on that object, it finds all the mesh renders, and then it uses that to, yeah. Okay. That's a little weird. Anyway, it kind of works. Attempt to make rockets fit into mortars too. So let's see, like that. Okay. So now we tried it at least. So let's see if it works. Yeah. So we have done that. This one is something else. It's more kind of a nice to have. That's because if you take the physics tool and place something and it's dragged into the mortar, we get a lot of warnings because the rigid body is actually frozen, but it's trying to move it and yada yada yada. So there's some issues. So I can do something here. Yeah, and you can say this one is also done, and then we can create whatever box we have on it, if any. Okay, so I think I will leave for now because it's dinner time and we got stuff working. And for the private testers, I think I will send a version out to you guys, and then maybe off screen or offline, maybe in a live stream, I'll try and fix the mortars. Amnesty, I don't know if you're still here, but I'll try and fix the mortar in your mod so we can get rid of all these colliders and have it behave more efficiently. So yeah, let's see how it goes. At least we made kind of a progress, little progress, something. So yeah, see you in the next one, and yeah, bye bye. Thank you for stepping by. See you. Bye.